Listen, the Phillies game, I'm sitting there in dead silence in my crib last night, and they go from the, I mean, you would have thought from the broadcast that the Braves had just won the Intergalactic Championship from the reaction that I mean, these guys were losing their fucking minds on the broadcast. So they go from that to then they show us the Dodger game, and the Dodgers are already down 1-0, and I'm like,
yeah, and then you got Bob Costas out here trying to make edgy jokes and shit. I fucking hate Bob Costas. So goddamn terrible.
Well,
and he's like, Clayton Kershaw, you sad sack of shit, exiting this stadium. Like, all right, Bob, let's relax.
Let's take it easy, Bob. But no, it just it was rough. So let's just go through the Phils, their last, I guess, week since I believe we had a pod that Tuesday, or Monday before the wild card series. And the Phils went out and took care of business against the Marlins. I'm really not too concerned about that because, I mean, I was a little nervous. They kind of, eased my troubles there. I guess none of us really thought that the Diamondbacks would just clap the Brewers' cheeks like that. But, I mean, that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. The Twins just absolutely dominated, I believe. Who did they play? Why can't I think of it right now? Blue Jays. Yeah, well, that's how irrelevant they are. And then you had your Rays get kind of just embarrassed.
Erased.
Yeah, and not a good look to have. I mean, I get the game was at 3:00, but not a good look to have that many empty seats. And
there's people that down here are like, well, it's 3 p.m. on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Meanwhile, Milwaukee is packed to the gills, and every stadium, every single home game the MLB has had, it's been like 100% attendance, and then the Rays was like 30. It's not really a baseball area. Like, people love the Rays down here, but there's a lot of transplants. The Tampa Bay Rays play in St. Pete, not way out of the way, but if there's traffic on the bridge, very far from Tampa. And I don't know, Tampa fans just aren't great sports. It's not a great sports city. I mean, it's definitely a hockey city. Everyone loves the Lightning, but they're also in Tampa. They're in downtown Tampa, and they've also been pretty good most of their existence. So, I don't know what else. I mean, the Rays are trying to do something. They're trying to get a new stadium. That's like 2026, 2027, I think. So they're going to try to transform the Trop and everything around the Trop into what Atlanta has done with the Battery outside of the Truist, which is awesome. Looks really good. Brand new, expensive. I'm sure there's a bunch of shit to do outside of the stadium or right next to the stadium. So that's what the Rays are trying to do. But I just, as long as it's not the Trop, because it's so dull inside there, like, it's fun.
It's like an Amazon warehouse in there, dude. I've never been there, but I've only seen it in pictures. It just looks so bad.
It's just dull. You're in there and you're like, all right, well, here we are.
There's no environment. There's no electricity.
No,
it's
dead quiet. There's like a Rays tank where you can go pet a stingray or some shit. Other than that, there's not much to do.
Well, I'd punch one of them for my homie Steve Irwin, but listen. So the Phils, they draw the Braves. Obviously, we knew this was going to happen. They go out in Game 1, and they look dominant. They take care of business. Ranger Suarez pitches like 3 2/3, which was like I was pulling my hair out. He brings Jeff Hoffman in the 4th inning. Well, I'm like, what in God's name is going on? Everything
pitcher.
Yeah, everything he did in that game worked out. It seemed so. I mean, he used his entire bullpen. I'm almost positive. I mean, other than maybe a name here or there, but
the off days, I guess, help. Managers be able to kind of go through a bullpen or have multiple bullpen games in a series, and kind of be able to bounce back from that and not be pretty much depleted. Also, so that happened, and I was like, dude, they have Wheeler Game 2 and Nola Game 3. Like, I'm not saying they're going to sweep them, but that is a huge, huge advantage to have over the Braves, whose pitching is, not great. Like, Max Fried looked like shit last night. So, they really just needed that fucking win. They had it. They had it the entire game, and they, like you said, could have put their foot right directly on the throat of the Braves and force them to win 2 games in Philly, where that place is fucking rocking, and then have to come back home. So now, I mean, you have to win both. I don't think you want to go back to Atlanta for Game 5.
Definitely don't. So in that Game 1, they go Hoffman, Dominguez, Alvarado, Kerkering, Strom,
that is.
and Kirkering's the guy from Single A that they brought up, and he's just throws
Nasty.
100 and just like has this sweeper that just cuts across the zone.
Yeah. I'm all in. I'm all in.
No, that's why I that's one of my favorite moves that a GM has made, where it was just like they went and saw this guy, they were like, oh, he's got this kind of stuff. Like, all right, we're bringing him up. Like, let's just not.
I like that. Even if he's not ready, what happens? He gets rocked. Well, Clay Kershaw's got 500,000 innings of experience, and he gets rocked. So maybe experience doesn't matter sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. You bring a guy like Hoffman into the game. So all right. So they win that game 3-0. It's really not even all that close throughout the game. I mean, there were some moments where you're like, oh shit, this could go their way, and it Turner makes that diving play. I think in the 8th inning, which kind of saves the game. Yeah. So there were some big moments. So last night, like you said, you're going into this game, you're thinking you got Zach Wheeler. This is your horse, your ace. And you're pitching, or you're playing against a Max Fried who had a boo-boo on his finger, which we heard about 1,000 times going into this this game last night. And throughout the game, they would not stop talking about it. Jeff Francoeur's giving breakdowns in the. First of all, I don't understand also why Jeff Francoeur couldn't have somebody maybe like gel his hair a little bit better, because he literally looks like he just got up off the craps table at fucking 3 a.m. He looks so shot out. It's unbelievable. But I digress.
Phillies legend.
Yeah, exactly. Phillies legend. They're like, well, he played for the Phillies. I'm like, it doesn't really matter. The guy was like Mr. Baseball in the state of Georgia in like 2002. And he's like Mr. Atlanta Brave. They fucking love that guy down there. I don't want to hear about how he has Phillies tie. He could give 2 fucks about Philadelphia and the Phillies.
Yeah, he was cooked by the time he was on the Phillies anyway.
Phils go out there and get a run in the first inning, which is huge. You jump out to a 1-0, like 1-0 just lead before Wheeler even touches the mound. Wheeler comes out and strikes out the first 6 guys he sees, dude. He's absolutely cruising. You're up 3-0, 4-0 in the 5th inning, okay? And you're thinking, oh, man, here we go, dude. Like, we're in here. Like, this just feels like a W. I was already sitting in my house like, God damn, like, I feel good. Then things kind of...
right?
I believe that's exactly...
Walker steals second, gets the third on a wild pitch.
No, he gets the third. No, he gets the third on like a. Wait, I'm sorry. Does he steal? No, I think he was on first, and the guy hits a double down the line, and Castellanos is throwing it in, and Turner tries to backhand it, and it bounces off his glove, and Acuna scores from third on that. So then we just have a guy on first, I believe.
That's right.
And then I think they get out of that inning. Yes, they get out of that inning.
Yeah,
and then they come back. And it's a Matt Olson nuke, like a line drive. Maybe they got an out before that. I think it maybe no,
he led off with a single. They struck out Ozuna, and then D'Arnaud went deep.
And then D'Arnaud went deep. Yeah. So and that pitch choice there, I just don't get. I mean, maybe it's just a good pitch choice, but bad execution, because that curveball just looped right across the zone, and off the bat, you knew that thing was gone, and it went very deep into the left field seats. So now it's 4-3, and you're like, you can, as a Phillies fan, you just have that feeling. You're like, oh my God, I said it at my house. Everyone's like, oh, you're so negative, but I can't help it, man. I was like, we're gonna lose this game, dude. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but we are going to lose this game. I've watched the Phillies all season long. This Phillies team, even last year, has a tendency that they score early runs and then they just stop. They're done. Yeah, like that's it. And they left a lot of guys on base last night. They left a lot of opportunities out there and gave runs away, it seems. I mean, bases loaded in the first inning where they get out of it. They had a couple like first and third with 1 out that they were able to.
In the 6th inning, they could have piled on more right before the Braves batted in the 6th.
Yes,
I think they had Baum. And they had runners on first and second with 1 out. And then Harper fouls out the third, and Real Muto fouls out the first. Just pathetic at bats that you can't have from your 2 of your biggest guys. Like, all you need is a little single, right? All you need is a walk, just something, a little poke, and to foul out weekly. Like, it was like the Dodgers last night. They would get a runner on, double play. Mookie Betts would come up, he would pop up. Freddie Freeman would come up, he would ground out. It's like, you need your big guys to perform with the fucking season on the line, pretty much. Like every run, every bat, everything matters in a best of 5 series. And in the 6th inning, the Phillies had a chance to just add on a little bit more before the Braves bats start to wake up, and they couldn't.
Nope.
And I mean, runners in scoring position, there's no excuses. Like, you can say that the bats showed up a little bit in the first half of the game, but you got to keep going, man. The Braves can just keep the Braves can score 10 runs in the blink of an eye, and they scored 5 in the blink of an eye. So that really, and then obviously walking Acuna is just can't happen. You can just that's the one guy you cannot put on the bases, and then Trey Turner cannot. I don't know how he botched a throw in from the outfield. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it can't happen.
It just started to avalanche. It seemed like pretty much.
And I know, like, see, so now they obviously the Phillies lose, and you really don't get much going in those later innings of the game. You have AJ Minter who comes in throwing gas, and Raciel Iglesias who. Castellanos was about 5 feet away from taking the lead in this game with that ball. He absolutely smoked. But what a play by Michael Harris. It really was reminiscent of that Chas McCormick play in the World Series last year. But the mind bending.
At the same time, James Outman made a similar catch.
Yeah,
same exact time.
Mind bending is the fact that Bryce Harper was midway through second and third base there. I just truly don't understand what he was thinking or what he was doing. At the very least, he should be standing right on second base, and just I just don't get the advantage. Like, if that ball is not caught and he drops it or it bounces off the wall, he's going to score if he's standing on second base. Either way.
Yeah.
Like, even if he has a couple steps off second base, I just don't get. He was in full run around second base. Like, that thing was on the ground. Like, I don't get it. And Bryce Harper is one of the, like, I don't want to say this like because it's going to sound horrible, but it's the truth. He is a horrible base runner. He really is. Like, I don't get where he is one of the smartest baseball players until it involves trying to run the bases. And he just has no fucking idea what he's doing. He's so aggressive on the bases for no reason. That is not a situation where we need you to, even if he catches that ball, you go back to first base, you still have Bryson Stott up against a right-hander who I have confidence that maybe Bryson Stott could find one of those gaps or rope one down the line, and maybe you score and get thrown out at the plate. I'll live with that. But for us to go out the way we did last night, it was horrible. We just gave that game away 100%. And they score 5 runs throughout from the 6th to the 8th inning, and that's how they win the game. Off 2 home runs and a fucking botched play by Trey Turner that really just cost them the game. He makes 2 errors last night. He's the 2 Phillies errors, and it's tough because Max Fried was not. He pitched horrible last night. You could tell right away that he was kind of like not necessarily wounded or whatever, but you could get to him. He was not. It was a version of Max Fried that you were not really all that worried about. Now, you don't know who you're going to be facing in Game 3. I'm not necessarily all that worried about it, but I don't know, man. I think a lot of the Phillies fans around here think that it's just going to be just like last year. Like, the Braves are going to come in here scared, and we're just going to walk through them. I don't really... Those guys have been sitting around all year long thinking about playing here again. Thinking about getting that revenge and kind of just ripping our hearts out. And they're a great baseball team. That's what I was like... I was screaming. You don't give great baseball teams games like that. You can't, because it will come back to bite you. The Braves have not played that well yet. And now, like, it seems like the momentum has completely shifted. And I get the momentum at the end of the day doesn't really matter in playoff baseball because it kind of just goes back and forth. But it's just more of the fact that they had that game won. You got exactly what you needed from Zach Wheeler. And now you'll never see Topper leave that guy, leave him out there and kind of trust his starter. He's just going to go right to the pen. And again, before I forget, I did want to discuss the fact that I don't understand why Jeff Hoffman is coming in the 8th inning of a truly meaningful, the most important game of the season. I get he's pitched well. I get his ERA is probably great and all those numbers and whatnot, but still Jeff Hoffman. It's still the NLDS, and I don't trust you, so I'm not going to go to you in the biggest moment of the season. I probably would have left. I mean, listen, I get it's lefty-righty situation, but I mean, Alvarado's still absolutely pumping gas, and he has off tomorrow, so I don't get why you wouldn't maybe try to extend him, run him for 2 innings. I don't know. Like, I feel like I would have lived with Alvarado giving up a bomb as opposed to Jeff Hoffman. I don't know. What do you think from an outsider's perspective, as just kind of like watching this whole nightmare unfold?
I don't know, man. I feel like managing a bullpen is so like even if you do, even if you make the right moves, it doesn't matter. Like Dave Roberts pulled all the strings in game two against the Diamondbacks last night. He took guys out when they should. He brought in the right guys, and it didn't matter. So like that's going to get lost in some people. But if he would have, if you're winning and you take out a starter and bring in one guy and he gets rocked, it's like, well, why didn't you bring in the other guy? But if you brought him in and he got rocked, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like you should have brought in this guy and not that guy. I personally think Alvarado's nasty. I think he's nails. I think you probably try to ride him as long as you can, like 20 something pitches. I don't know. I never saw it with Jeff Hoffman. He was a top prospect like 5-10 years ago and flamed out, and now he's like a reclamation project reliever. I've never been confident in him. So yeah, I mean, I guess I would have left Alvarado in, but also I'm not a manager. I don't know if Rob Thompson's much better than I or you are, but yeah, tough decision. He's going to get criticized pretty heavily for that.
Yeah, and he won. I mean, you could argue Rob Thompson won them game one with the decisions he made. So it's nothing to really like I was there saying, why the fuck did they just take Ranger Suarez out? He was absolutely dealing, but obviously it worked out. He made the right decision because we won the game last night. I guess the only problem I have with leaving Wheeler in is just because he hasn't done that all year. Like, and I even though I've wanted him to do that, it just strays from his like identity or what he believes. So that's why I don't like it, because it's just like what like I've come to expect. Like as soon as Olsen got that hit, I was like, oh, they're taking him out. I thought they were going to take him out before the inning when they saw Hoffman warming up in the pen during the last inning. I'm like, all right, well, he got through the sixth, like we're good now. Like he did what he had to do. I don't necessarily I just don't understand. If you were going to make a playoff run, why you didn't go out and get another absolute nuclear arm out of the pen? Or maybe, I don't know, there had to be a better option back there that they could have brought in other than fucking Jeff Hoffman. Like, I don't care what he's done all year. I really don't. He got one out the other night. Congratulations. It's way different than pitching in a one-run game in the eighth inning of the NLDS. I don't know. And I mean, at the end of the day, they probably were going to go to Kimbrel in the ninth, and things were going to go fucking haywire from there anyway. So I really don't want to get all that worked up about it. But it's just more of the matchup situation where I don't want Jeff Hoffman facing the top of the lineup. I don't know who we have as a right-handed arm out of the pen that I want facing the top of the lineup. That's the tough thing about playing these guys. They have Austin Riley, Acuna, fucking Ozuna. They have just really good right-handed bats. So it's like, I get you don't want to necessarily go lefty on lefty. I wouldn't want Strom in there, but I think Alvarado's a little bit of a different story. I think you could have
Alvarado or Soto.
Yeah,
I think
exactly. Like
Alvarado only pitched 16 pitches, only threw 16 pitches. So like maybe leave him in for I don't know. But
and I tweeted that you have the account 3-2. Why are you throwing like a curveball across the middle of the zone? Like that to me, I didn't understand. Throw some high heat or low and away, and if he beats you, it beats you. It is what it is. But I am not going to serve one up to him. And if he walks him, he walks him. Maybe it was like he wanted it low, and Hoffman just completely missed the spot, which that's possible. But I would have rather. I mean, obviously it's easy to say that now, but I don't understand why you're not just walking that guy and have Olsen, especially if you were going to go to Soto, no matter what. I'd rather would have just. Yeah. Dealt with if Soto serves one up, he serves one up. But I'll take the guy who's absolutely pumping gas out of the pen and live with the consequences. But now they got game 3.
Yeah, I guess the good news is you have Nola going against either Bryce Elder. I would assume Bryce Elder or AJ Smith Sawyer.
Is that going to be both like? They won't be able to throw Strider in game 4. You don't think, right?
Well, no, I think he is going game 4.
Wow.
Is what it seems like, him and Suarez, because I think they get another day off also.
So they're off today, but it's Wednesday. He'll pitch on Thursday, then.
Okay. So I think they're going to try to make it a bullpen game. Hope Bryce Elder or Smith Shawver can go 3 or 4, and then Bryce Elder's. I don't know if he's going to start, but he's going to they're going to try to get 3-4 innings out of him. But you have the advantage there. Aaron Nola, listen, that's the bad news. Aaron Nola is very volatile.
Yeah.
And he likes to hang curveballs. He likes to throw dead fastballs. He likes to throw meatballs. He gives up home runs a lot, So that against this lineup is potentially dangerous. But I think you can definitely get – Bryce Elder's not that good. A.J. Smith-Shawver's not that good. Like, this is a game you got to win because you got Spencer Strider in Game 4. And then Game 5, who knows? Who knows what can happen if we even get that far. But – Game
5 would probably be what? Wheeler, same thing, Wheeler Freed, you think?
Wheeler, yeah, probably. And then obviously all hands will be on deck besides the guys that pitched in the game before. But even then, that's advantage Phillies. The Phillies have the advantage in probably games 1, 2, 4, and 5. So they just, obviously, this goes without saying, but they cannot lose Game 3 and look at Strider in an elimination game against Ranger Suarez, who I don't think he's awful or anything, but he only gave you 3 innings the first time. If that happens again,
they don't
your
trust
bullpen
him.
might be taxed. Yeah, your bullpen might be taxed. So, very interesting. It's going to be a very, very interesting series. I mean, listen, you get past the Braves, you probably think like, wow, the NL could be ours. Like the Diamondbacks are, they're fun. They have young talent, but they have no pitching outside of Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, and even Merrill Kelly. He's okay, but
he was fighting for his life the other night, even though they were up by a lot. You could just tell, like he's a grinder, man. Like his stuff isn't exactly the greatest. He's just kind of trying to nitpick the outside of the zone. I don't know. My buddy had him like 6 Ks the other night, and he was just fighting for his life to get those Ks, and he never did.
Zach Gallen pitching a playoff game in Philly would be kind of cool since he's from South Jersey. But I don't think. I think Philly would have the advantage 1,000,000% over the Diamondbacks. Not to say that they would cruise past them because anything could happen in the playoffs. When the Giants won their World Series, they were like 88, 86 win teams those seasons. So truly anything can happen. Look at the Phillies last year. I was like, the Padres are going to smoke the Phillies. Nope. So, and also, even if the Dodgers did advance, we're like a wounded animal at this point in the season, So,
I'd almost rather play the Dodgers, like just because of that reason. Their pitching is not that good at this point in the season, and like you said, like they just kind of broke down. They're a great baseball team. They just kind of ran out of gas, and that's why I feel like the Braves, in some sense, are that. They're just a little bit in better shape right now than the Dodgers are. Because you went through their starting pitching, and it's just not. It is not good, and it's And the Diamondbacks, it's right. It's all right there for the Phils. That's why last night it felt like the world was over. Really, I was heartbroken. I could not believe that
losing the way you lost.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you had that game, and I'm just like, I can't understand how we let that happen. I'm telling you, man. I was on the watch, man, and you guys know what the watch is. It was tough. It was tough, man. I don't feel good either. And that's the thing I have a problem with now, because people are like, well, we got Nola going Game 3. We'll be all right. I'm like, well, did you guys watch Nola pitch this season? Because, he had one good start against the Marlins, but that guy would pitch 3 good innings, and then all of a sudden it become a home run derby in the middle of the game. And you're like, wow. Yeah. Where you're out, you're out with your buddies, and you go look at your phone. It was 4-0. Now you look and it's 5-4, and you're watching Nola get taken out. You're like, whoa, what happened? How does it 5-4 now? And you're just, no, here comes Jeff Hoffman into the game. So,
also, he throws a lot of pitches. Nola does. He tries to get Ks. So the last thing you want to do is just absolutely burn through your bullpen again before you face Spencer Strider. Strider, can't say his name. So it's definitely an uphill battle. Game 3 is the one. They got to come out here and just fucking score first, and
they got to put up
scoring,
like a 10 spot. Yeah, I think this game in the over is the lock.
Set the tone early.
Shout out to the 8-ball. I think we need the over play here. I think my fellow co-host in this podcast has pissed the 8-ball off. So I am not with. Just so you know, 8-ball. I don't fuck with my boy right here. All right, but I do, but I don't. But
I'm so sorry for saying the Cowboys are not that good. How dare I?
Well, I do agree with you.
What a hot take.
I think the Cowboys are doo-doo trash meat, but it is what it is.
So is the whole world.
Yeah. Listen. Is that all we have pretty much for the for the Phillies? I could probably sit here all day and talk about it, but it's
doo-doo trash meat.
Doo-doo trash meat.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. We'll see where we are come the end of the week.